That's not right. And if you film in portrait, you're an idiot. Podcast is derived from the pod of iPod and cast, as in broadcast. However, the term wasn't coined until 2001 when Apple first released their iPod, which looked a bit like this. The obvious crux is that podcasts were restricted to an audio-only format. That is, until a few years later when Apple released iPods so people could watch videos on the go. This meant podcasts were able to adapt to this new hardware. According to Google, a podcast is a digital audio file made available on the internet for downloading to a computer or mobile device, typically available as a series, new installments of which can be received by subscribers automatically. The only problem with this definition is that it's broad enough to pilot a Death Star through it. Everything on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, every song, every Facebook status update, and all the porn on the internet technically fits this definition. However, it's possible to objectively say a number of these things aren't podcasts. It all really just begs the question, why do we have a word so cool used to designate one multimedia type, and yet the definition of which is so broad? Podcasts are the equivalent of art. Not everything is art, and not everything is a podcast. The stuff you post to social media is more akin to a blog of sorts. It's more personalized and telling your own story. The stuff you post to YouTube, however, is harder to discern. And content creators do in fact make podcasts, and they do discern between podcasts and their typical content. But ultimately, I think podcasts have to have a point to them, and that point is to inform viewers of something. I don't believe information and entertainment are mutually exclusive. You can have them both. However, for podcasts, we need to actually make a distinction about what counts rather than say anything can go. Because it's like with art, if you say anything can be art, then everything is art, and there are things that should not count as art. At the moment, no one can identify what a podcast should be, so that's why the definition is left so broad. And I certainly do not have all the answers. However, not having answers is exactly the problem.